Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Well, happy 2025, everyone. Hopefully you are starting it out right by listening to the Real Film Nerds Podcast. Yes, it is 6 or 7 hours past midnight, I think, now when I put this on, because I usually drop it at 7 a.m. Arizona time. But anyways, Real Film Nerd, first podcast of the year for 2025 on New Year's Day, episode 404. We're going to talk about a movie that came out on Christmas Day. I saw both movies, the big ones that came out on Christmas Day, but this is the one we're going to talk about, A Complete Unknown, the movie about Bob Dylan. With me, as always, with his new laptop and his new headset and his new microphone and all of his fancy newness. It only took 20 years, but he got it. Mysterious Michael Talent.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I got stuff. Santa was kind.
So, Michael, what is your 2025 resolution?
I don't know yet. It's too early I'm not sure. We're recording before the first, everyone, so I haven't come up with one yet. And even when it is the first, I doubt I'm going to have one.
Well, that's going to be Wednesday. It's now Wednesday, Mike, because we're talking in the future.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know then. I'll let you know, Matt. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
All right. Now on to the real star of the show. Mike and I, we are just slackers. We're just in this for the fun of it. On to the professional. She makes a living at this. She's sitting in her bedroom right now in her home studio, wondering why we're screwing around. Ma Hinshaw, how are you?
Hi.
Happy 2025.
Happy 25, whatever. Oh, yeah, 25. 2025. I'll get that right. Okay. And what is your New Year's resolution?
No, you didn't say yours. How dare you?
Mine is to maybe clean up my room so that I can function properly. Oh, goodness. Anyway.
Which room? That home
My
that you are in
bedroom.
has a lot of rooms.
My bedroom that you say is my office, but good Lord, you can't walk in it right now. Everything from the trip is all over everywhere.
Your she shed?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
So my 2025 resolution is to remain completely and utterly alone and screw everyone else.
Oh, excellent.
Well, you can't do that if you're alone. Oops. I'm sorry.
Jesus, mother. Jesus. Okay. All right. So should we talk about Bob Dylan or not?
Yes. Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, Mike, why don't you break down the Bob Dylan movie that I keep forgetting the name of the actual movie, but A Complete Unknown.
All right, Matt. A Complete Unknown was directed by James Mangold. It was written by James Mangold, Jay Cox, and Elijah Wald. It is based on the book by him, Dylan Goes Electric. This movie starring Timothée Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro, and in 1961, an unknown 19-year-old Bob Dylan arrives in New York City with his guitar and forges relationships with music icons on his meteoric rise, culminating in a groundbreaking performance that reverberates worldwide. All right.
Okay, so should we let ladies go first? So you were what, like 45 in 61 when this took place?
No, I was in college. Excuse you.
Well, what does that mean? You were in college. You could have been 45 and in college. You just
Well,
might
I
have taken
wasn't. I
longer.
was 19 or whatever, 18, 19, whatever that is.
Same
Anyway,
age as Bob Dylan.
I'm the same. Yeah. He was born in 41. Absolutely.
Were you friends with Bobby Dylan?
Heavens no.
Well, why not?
He didn't go to ASU, I guess, but Frank Sinatra's son did. I don't even know if that guy's alive now. But anyway, I did meet him. I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, 1961.
So, Mom,
And
you were a
what?
flower child back then. You did lots of drugs, and you sang, and you were a folk person. And did you go to Woodstock?
No.
Well,
Are you
what
kidding?
did you do with your life?
I tried to pass my classes.
How hard was it?
grief.
You literally drew naked people for 4 years.
I also had to take history and math and biology, all this kind of stuff that no one ever uses. Heck
You
yeah.
never talk about that. You only talk about all the naked people you drew on paper with charcoal.
I had to do that. It was life drawing classes, and I had to do that because I was in the art department. Got my degree in advertising art.
Matt,
how
didn't
hard
you
was
just
it?
take pictures of naked people?
Yes.
That's all he did. Huh.
Who's the
Anyway.
best?
Mhm. But yes, 61. And I thought it was around Vietnam time, but Vietnam started in 65. So when he went to New York, it was a bit before Vietnam started. But I tell you, the songs that he wrote during the war, you could hear them all the time. All the time.
Oh, Mom, the Vietnam War started before 61.
It did
Yeah.
well.
We had people
Google.
over there long before 61. We just didn't get fully involved until the 60s.
Oh, well,
we had
yeah,
quote unquote advisors.
I used to send, packages to the troops and stuff like that. And I was out of college, so that would have been 64, 65. And then that definitely was the war part, I guess.
Well, it was, Mom, the war started technically, I think, actually right after World War II. But we
in
just weren't.
50s. Yeah, dude, we weren't part of it. It was like the French or something.
Because they were the ones that
the French,
had controlled the whole thing. And we had quote unquote advisors that were over there helping. And then the French went, F this, we're dying too much. And they left. And we went, well, we can't do that. And that's when we sent over, hundreds of thousands of troops then.
Yeah. Bunch of folks.
But yeah, and our advisors, we were like 20,000 strong.
No,
that's a lot of advisors.
That many, yeah.
Anyways, okay, so we're not here to talk about the war. We're here to talk about this film about Bob Dylan, Ma. What about the film, other than you wish you had some weed while you were watching it? See, listen to that cough.
Stop making me laugh.
She's inhaling right now.
Anyway, one thing that New York now, then, whenever. In the 60s, what I thought was great was they really showed New York as it was probably back then. I thought that was very good. And the apartments that he ended up living in, I think he lived with one or two of the gals. They back in that day, people, when you said you were in an apartment, it was one room, a window, maybe room for a bed and a shade screen, and that was about it. And they really caught the feeling of living the way he did when he first got to New York, before he started making money, or lots of money, I guess. Yeah, I thought that was real good. And I don't know, I guess, would you call that the cinematography or set design? I don't know, but set design. Okay. Yeah. But I thought that was quite authentic for the time, in the 60s.
Well, Mom, in New York, most apartments are still one room. You can still get apartments here, or even in your hometown of Sierra Vista without our one room apartments. I know, I've been in them. My friends had them at one point, and they were down the street. Yep.
Well,
there are studios, Mom.
when I got out of college, I was in, no, I take it back. I actually had a bedroom, but it was about as small as anything. But yeah, when I was working, I had one in Phoenix too, very, very, very small. But it just gave the feel of what it was like when he was there in New York. And then going to all the different performers, kind of trying to learn and trying to fit and get in there, and what he had to do to make it. And I thought that was very good. What did you think, Mike?
I did think it kind of captured the essence of probably how he started. I imagine there was some creative changes here and there to the true story, but I think that was supposed to be Greenwich Village. I'm not familiar with the New York, but wherever it was like the gaslight, like when he was doing his performance in there, dude. I was like, whoa, it looks just like Maisel, and I guess so that was really a place. I don't think I knew that that was a real place. From because watching The Marvelous Miss Maisel for all these years, she always played at the Gaslight. Or she did her stand up at the Gaslight. So that was cool when Bob Dylan sang his song when it was like the height of the missile crisis. Um, I don't know. It was neat. The Newport folk festival. I kind of like that because I've been up to Newport for work many times, and they still have that folk festival, and it's a big deal. But I didn't go to it, but I've been to Newport when that was going on, so that was kind of neat. But yeah, it was interesting to see what it's like from when he had no fame and then when he became famous, and how kind of terrible it was to become famous, and everybody just wants you to do the same thing over and over. You can kind of see that when these artists or anybody wants to change, but the fans are like they don't want them to, or the machine that is the record labels and the people behind them are like, hey, that's fine that you want to do that thing, but you need to do this other thing because that's where you make all your money. Keep making money, please. So
That's very true. I think that, when he had several songs, like Rolling Stone was one of them, and Lay Lady Lay, another one that people kept asking for over and over and over, and you'd hear it all the time, because they were popular. And some of the other ones, there's one that they played in the movie, though, that wasn't that familiar, but it was really good. But like you say, people probably didn't ask for it. They didn't want to hear it, And the girlfriend situation, oh my goodness.
oh yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah, well that seemed, I don't want to say cliche, but it kind of made sense that would have happened like that. So
Yeah.
just because when they're, I don't know, when the artists are passionate or whatever, and they've got other things going on, and then the one love interest, she was also a singer and songwriter, so it was like when they were hitting it off, it was electric. When they weren't hitting it off, it was, polar opposites. So,
Dude, Joan Baez is a huge performer. How did you not know who Joan Baez was, Mike?
dude, I don't know, man.
She was very famous on her own, and I knew Joan Baez from her individual performances. I did not really realize that she performed with Bob. I was very surprised in the movie to hear that.
Yeah, she was a very big deal before Bob Dylan ever became known, like whatsoever. And then just one note about the girlfriends. So his longtime love interest, which still was back and forth until she passed away in 2015. I believe it was 2015. Sylvie Russo. She is not a real person. She was made up based on Bob's true love interest, and they did not use her real name, but they used kind of an amalgamation of her through the years because they were trying to protect her because she's one of the few innocents that wasn't like a celebrity that was featured in this film with Bob Dylan. And so that's not her real name. That's not, but she is based on a real person, but they did exaggerate and change some things.
That's very interesting because I felt bad for her, but then she'd like, I've had it, and she'd leave and then, oh no, and then back she'd be, or he'd go and get her. And anyway, it was very interesting.
And I believe she and Bob were involved in some way, shape, or form until her death.
Oh, that makes me feel better, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he's still kicking.
Well, you're still kicking.
I know. I can't believe it, really. Kind of a shock, but yep, here I am.
I did appreciate the way the story talked about how he went to go see one of his idols who was in the hospital. What was his name? It wasn't Pete, because Pete was the other
not Pete Seeger.
Yeah, Pete Seeger was the other folk guy, but it was I don't remember his name right now, his character's name, but that was real endearing. And I enjoyed that he seemed to go back there often to just kind of talk with, his buddy. So I thought
Woody
that was
Guthrie.
Woody Guthrie, yeah. I thought that was, I don't know if that really happened.
It did. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He it seemed like that was such a neat connection they had, even though he couldn't even speak. So he became nonverbal, I guess. I think he had Hutchinson's disease. I thought he had a stroke, but I think he had something else.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on what he had. I'd have to Google it, and I'm not going to make noise. So,
okay, no noise from you, Matt. No.
Yes, sir.
Well, and I thought one thing that was interesting is I did not know that he knew Johnny Cash and that Johnny Cash supported him. That was pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I like how they were writing each other letters. That was fun. What a different time. What a different time that you could actually do that. I don't even think that would happen these days. I guess most of the time they'd probably just email them or somehow get their number and text them or something. Or like, my agent gave your agent my number and here you go.
True. Very true, I think. Different times.
So Bob Dylan's real long-term love interest was Susan Elizabeth Rotolo. And the character of what is it? Susie not Susie, Sylvia is based on her.
I thought the actors were very good, but I thought Timothy really nailed it. I really thought he was good. And Bob Dylan, I think, was a hard character to portray, but he did a really good job to me. What did you guys think?
Yeah, she passed away in 2011 at 67 due to cancer. Bob Dylan asked to change her name in the film.
Okay.
And she actually married an Italian film editor in the 70s. Okay, well, there you go. I'll stop looking up random trivia while you guys are talking.
Okay. All right.
So, okay, all right. Do we need to move on here, Mike? Do I need to get thirsty?
No. Well, you can be thirsty. Just a second. The acting, I really thought Timothée Chalamet nailed like the acting for such nuanced. It was a lot of what he didn't say in this movie, and like even the performances of the singing were great, and like I really was impressed with Edward Norton. I mean, I guess he's just a veteran, but man, I thought he came off awesome as well in his acting. Of Pete Seeger, he made it seem so natural. I'm sure he had to learn how to play the banjo. Like it was like, I don't know. It was really cool to see that. I thought he did a great job as well. I know he's not in it all the time, but he keeps kind of coming in and out of the movie. So
Well, I think our four main characters of the film all did an excellent job. Edward Norton, of course. Timothée Chalamet, he learned how to play guitar for this role, and I believe that is him singing a lot in the film.
Wow.
And so the director of this film, James Mangold, he's done some pretty big films like Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash story. And I feel that this is one of his better biopics. He's did Ford versus Ferrari. He's a very, very, very accomplished director. And I feel that in Walk the Line, not to like criticize Joaquin Phoenix, but that was like Joaquin Phoenix playing Johnny Cash. Timothée Chalamet in this feels like Bob Dylan. It doesn't feel like Timothée Chalamet is trying too hard. Or you know what I mean? Like Joaquin Phoenix has that style. He just never, he's Joaquin Phoenix. He doesn't really feel like Johnny Cash in that film to me. He does, but he doesn't. He feels like an actor. And Timothée Chalamet just felt like Bob Dylan to me. He really did. But Monica as Joan Baez was great. Elle Fanning as Sylvie Russo, Ed Norton. Those four, I think, just knocked it out of the park. And I think this film is going to be nominated for all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it's going to win anything, but I think it's going to be nominated for sure.
yeah. Definitely, dude. All right. So, Matt, I am getting a little thirsty, so I might as well ask you, what are you drinking this fine morning, evening, or afternoon, especially on the 1st of July, or 1st of January, on this New Year's Day?
Are you getting the sometimers like my mom?
Yeah, the Suntiners, yeah.
I knew it. Well, Mike, I'm just drinking a nice, delicious glass of Captain Morgan spiced rum and Pepsi Zero.
Oh, nice, dude. Cutting those calories.
Got to get it out somehow. The purging is starting to hurt the throat. So.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Did you run out of eggnog? Darn it.
I sent the eggnog down with you. My mom when she was here, was drinking the nog with some Captain in it. So is that what you're drinking tonight, Ma?
Yes, I wish. Actually, all I have is tea. Pooey.
Hot tea?
Mm-hmm.
Orange tea, black tea, Earl Grey?
Peach.
Peach tea?
Yep.
Like green peach tea?
No, just peach tea. Anyway, so hopefully I don't cough. Okay.
All right, Mike. Well, you got to redeem this segment of the podcast since Mom is drinking tea. I see it. It's blurry. It's a can. It's orange. Is it peach too?
It's a pumpkin spice lager, but it's from Devil's Backbone. So the area that I'm visiting has some different brews. So I'm in a different part of the country right now.
He's on the East Coast visiting family for the holidays because Mike has people that care about him. I wonder what that's like, Mom.
Hey, you visited people for the holidays.
I did. I went and saw Booger.
Mm-hmm.
My sweet Booger, and she was sick. And I read her a nice Christmas holiday book about hookers and blow.
You did, and that was your present.
It's a children's book.
That. It is. I saw it. I said, no, that can't be. But it's true. Hookers and blow.
So, all right. Speaking of hookers and blow, Mike, what is this week's just absolutely incredible dad joke?
I got dad jokes. I don't think they understand though. Gotta think I'm funny. Other people never laugh though. Dad jokes.
Oh, let me figure out one real quick.
Oh, you missed your favorite segment of the entire podcast, and you have to go figure it out?
Yeah, wait. Hold on.
Mom, I'm glad you were prepared for this podcast. Mike, I am disappointed. Well, while Mike's trying to figure that out, just to let you know that we do have a giveaway this podcast, and I need to remember to do that here once we're done with all of our stuff.
Oh, that sounds great.
And Mike will have to think of a question that people have to answer to get a copy of said movie that I talked about last week.
All
Mike,
right,
how we
Matt.
doing over there? Are
All
you
right.
Googling fast?
Yeah, no, we're good. Why did Bob Dylan start working at a bakery?
Because he liked Rolling Stones?
Because he needed to make some dough, re, mi.
Oh, I got that one. Cool.
You know it's really bad when my mom really likes it.
Oh boy.
Oh, Lord.
A piece of trivia, though. The title of the movie came from his song, Like a Rolling Stone. It's in
Yeah,
the
but that's
middle
not
of
the title of the movie.
Complete
No.
Unknown. The lyric.
Yeah.
The complete unknown is in that song.
Well, I think
Um,
you're unknown.
No, I listened to the whole song. I Googled it. And I listened through the whole thing, and I had never heard all the words. Well, I probably did, but at that time, who noticed,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you were high.
Oh, I was not. Anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, Mike, the best part of the podcast, Mike, how does a complete unknown relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
So I'm going to take the easy one on this one. I'm going with Mr. Edward Norton for the movie that he probably doesn't want to remember that he made. That is the Incredible Hulk. He played Bruce Banner in 2008.
Mm.
Yep, and they never let him play it again.
Yeah, well, I feel like there was some how do you say it? Creative differences.
That's a nice way of saying that Edward Norton's a jerk.
He's opinionated, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, Mike, did you think of a question that we need to ask our listeners to be entered into our contest?
No. Oh, well, no, we got nothing.
There was a light at the end of that tunnel, and then it got shut real fast. Woof. Okay, well, I'll give you a minute to do this. So, Mike, it's been a little bit. I told everyone that this was coming. I didn't tell them the movie, but Mike, this film just dropped last Tuesday on the streamings. It is not on Blu-ray yet, but it will be soon. I know it will be. We talked about this film. We both reviewed this film. We both reviewed this film very well. Ma reviewed this film, I think, more than both of us, which is, that's terrible. She always just gives so many high ratings, especially when there's glistening sweat covered abs. But Mike, this week we are giving away digital copies, not rentals, copies. You can own the film in 4K of Gladiator 2.
Dude, that's so awesome. Gladiator 2.
Yep, literally, it's only been out for a week, and we already got copies to give away to our faithful listeners. Happy New Year.
Yeah. I think we're talking to super fan.
Okay, Mike. So go ahead. What question did you come up with? I gave you some time. I tried to fill the air so you could use that noodle of yours.
Okay. Well, Ridley Scott directed it, correct?
Ridley Scott did direct Gladiator 2, yes.
Yes. Tell us your favorite Ridley Scott movie that's not Gladiator 2.
Oh, well, then it's Gladiator 1.
Okay. Well, there you not you, man. The audience.
Oh, okay. All right. I can't win, though. Dang it.
No, that's so sad. We can't win it.
I would say, Ma, what is your favorite Ridley Scott film? But I'm sure she doesn't know who it is, so.
I have no idea what other movies he's directed. I'm weird.
Several.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He's a very accomplished director. Yeah. So, all right, Mike. Well, let me go ahead and get to our business here for our friends over at Paramount Pictures. Like always, dude, they support us so much. One of these days, I'm going to get them to give me a Paramount Plus subscription for free. But mine just renewed, so I just paid it again. And I do the one with the Showtime. It's good stuff, right, Ma?
Right.
She likes Paramount Plus.
I like Paramount. I do. I like.
She's been watching Ghosts. She's been catching up on the Ghosts. She loves it.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard that one's good. I haven't watched it.
Oh, dude, Ghost is hilarious. It's one of my
Oh,
favorite
you got
shows.
to. It is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Mhm.
fun. I want to see Landman. That's one I'm behind on. That one looks really, 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 really good. But yeah, enough plugging Paramount Plus. But they are, sponsor. So, anyways, here we go. Bring home Gladiator 2 on digital now. Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, Paul Mescal, and Connie Nielsen star in the action-packed epic. Buy the film critics are calling one of the most entertaining films of the year and get over an hour of next level extras, including deleted scenes, featurettes, and more. Available at participating retailers, Gladiator 2 is rated R, and again, it's from our good friends over there at Paramount Pictures. Whew. All right. So email Mysterious Mike Talent, Mike at realfilmnerds.com, if you would like to be entered into our drawing to get a copy of Gladiator 2. Tell us your favorite Ridley Scott film that is not Gladiator or Gladiator 2. There you go. I'm changing it up. Boom.
Man, look at those new rules. Ugh.
You're making it hard.
Mom, please tone
Sorry.
it down a little bit. This is a professional podcast.
Yes,
We
sir.
don't need your shenanigans.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We're now in the spoilers territory of Bob Marley. Bob Dylan, a complete unknown. Yeah, Bob Marley and Bob Dylan. That would have been interesting. But anyways, all right. So I did right off the bat, I didn't know much going into this film. I watched the trailer maybe once. I did not realize it was only a handful of years of his life. It was only the start of his career. I didn't realize it wasn't going to span his whole, 60 plus year career as a musician. But yeah, so that was interesting that there was so much that went on in 4 or 5 years. I mean, pretty insane.
Yeah, I thought it would cover some of before he got to New York, but it didn't. It just started when he landed in New York,
Well, I guess that's to signify like he's taking the leap. He's going to move somewhere where he has no idea. He doesn't know anybody. He knows how to play his guitar, and he's going to try and make it big. Kind of like, a ton of people go to Nashville every year and kind of try to do the same thing. I watched that documentary about Garth Brooks. He even did that and ended up going back home for a little bit before he actually went back to Nashville and then became who we know as Garth Brooks. So like, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy that, so many people try and make it and it's so tough. Timing and, like he got so lucky that he kind of met the right people at the right time to be able to help him, because I think that Pete why I keep forgetting his last name. Seeger.
Pete
Yeah.
Seeger?
Pete Seeger really kind of, I think, helped introduce him into some of the people and get him into different places to play and all that, and then kind of help him grow. Like I think he was doing that a little bit himself, but I think that really helped to have somebody who's kind of like your advocate and helping you out. And then, after that, I think at some point he gets a manager, and then that helps to do that more and more because that's their job, right? They don't make money until you get paid. So
as you and I know, my mom never worked in her life. She's just a slacker. But as you and I know, it's not necessarily what you can do. It's who you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
Now, I'm not saying that Bob Dylan is not talented. That's why he's put out 55 plus albums. He's very talented and he's very good. But for him to get in the door, it took meeting the right people at the right time and them advocating on his behalf. So I know, Mom, I'm just giving you crap. Stop shaking your head at me.
I worked, just never got paid very much, but that's okay. Yeah. But it is who people, that's true in many, many cases, especially, the performance field. My goodness, it's tough.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason he moved to New York, because that was kind of a hotbed of like just being in that area. He was able to meet and see people of like, like of that kind of, I guess, folk era when he was starting out there, and it was good to just be in that area to be able to try and network and kind of do the stuff. And his in the movie, whoever, if it happened kind of like this, if he met the one girl and he kind of ended up living with her and stuff, that allowed him to have like a place to live, because he kind of seemed like
Mhm.
a vagabond, or someone who didn't really have a home. I think he was mostly homeless, and he just kind of
Mhm.
shacked up with people around until eventually I imagine he got himself a place to stay. And it kind of did show that in the movie where he had like an apartment. But yeah, it's like he didn't have any money, so I think he just spent everything he had on trying to make himself better and go visit his buddy, Woody Guthrie, who's in New Jersey. I kind of thought it was funny, the scene where he goes and he gets into New York, and he's looking for this guy, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's in New Jersey." He's like, "Man, I was just in New Jersey."
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I thought that was
Mhm.
kind of funny. It's like,
It
I
was a
gotta
good way
go.
to start the film, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
You know what I just dawned on me too is 61 in New York is, I think, when the Beatles came to America.
yeah,
That was, and they were, taking over America at that time too.
yeah,
It was quite a
Beatlemania.
crazy time. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
crazy.
There was one mention of the Beatles in that party where he was doing it. He walked in with one of his girlfriends, and he's like, "Hey man, where's your guitar?" He's like, "I didn't bring it." And then he's like, "Oh, we got an extra one." Like they were gonna try and get him to perform, and he's like, "Man, I wasn't looking to perform." So
All right, so anything else you hoodlums would like to add about A Complete Unknown, or are we good? And Mike is going to give his nice rating, and my mom is going to give it a perfect score because she just loves everything, because she likes getting out of the house and drinking. And or is there more you want to add?
I can't think of anything. Mm-mm.
I liked all the effort that went into the set design and the cars and all the scenes, even though it seemed like we were only in one block, I think, of New York for most of the shots. I felt like they did a pretty good job of like changing up where those shots were at, so it didn't always seem like you were at the exact same place, although you kind of were in the same like block or so. Um, and maybe block or two. I thought that stuff was pretty cool. I thought they did a good job with like the cars, all the old cars and all that stuff. I know these days a lot of that stuff can be easily done in CG, but it looked good, on the screen.
I think a lot of it was practical, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
you think?
oh yeah, some of it probably digital, maybe backgrounds and things like that. But I think the physical props and things were well, of course physical props would be practical, but yeah, like the cars and outfits and motorcycles and
Mhm.
all that stuff, I think was pretty spot on and was actually there. I don't think that was digital. Backgrounds probably, but
Mhm.
What
maybe,
did
I don't
you?
know.
Yeah, what did you think about the use of like the TV, and like this couple moments in the movie to where he kind of looks outside and everybody's watching the TV and all the same time, and like it seemed like uh everyone in New York was very close. Like you got that kind of feeling where everybody's on top of each other, and it seemed like it wasn't always the best temperature. So this is before majorly air condition was everywhere, like I feel
Yeah.
like.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
so
yeah,
if
yeah.
it was warm, everybody just had their windows open, which they definitely had in this movie a lot. And then chain smoking. Good Lord, did they smoke a
Oh,
lot in
yeah.
this movie?
Hmm.
Well,
Pretty
that's how
much.
Bob Dylan stayed awake, was smoking all the time, right?
Like I guess I don't know, man. It seemed like as soon as his cigarette was out, he lit up another one, and like that was like the whole movie.
Well, the thing that I found that was pretty hardcore was how it didn't really matter who he was hooking up with, who he was sleeping around with, whatever. The thing that always came first to him was his craft. he was always writing. Always writing. Like, there's a scene where it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and he hooked up with what's her face again in her hotel room in was that in Vegas?
I think that was in. No, I think that was supposed to be somewhere in New York.
Joan Baez? Yeah. Was it New York still? Anyways, he went and like visited her and ended up like hooking up with her. And then in the middle of the night, she gets all pissed off because he's sitting there awake, keeping her awake, writing songs. Like, it just shows you, no matter who he was with or what he cared about or what, his first love and the thing that he always cared about was writing music constantly.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very well conveyed in this film.
Yeah, and he seemed like he could be very harsh about his opinions about other people or whatever. I don't know, those closest to him. He was just brutal sometimes.
To say the least, yes. Yeah. he do you think he was a womanizer, Mike? Like, he just kept sleeping around?
I don't know if he would see it like that. So I'm gonna say no.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't know enough. That's the thing. I didn't really study much of Bob Dylan's, private life. I just have listened to his music and like everybody else, and very good at what he does. Some of his stuff later in life, I'm not a super huge fan of, but some of it's really good. All the stuff that we typically know him for is the stuff that everybody loves. So, but anyways, all right. So, Mike, what are we going to talk about next week? Are we going to do Nosferatu? Is that the consensus? I think.
I think so, Matt. I think so. I don't think anything else of note is coming out kind of after this Christmas dump of possible Oscar nominated movies. So yeah, I think we're gonna do Nosferatu.
Okay, so we'll talk about that if you can get to theaters. If not, we're going to do a streaming movie out of my collection of 600 plus films. Yes, it is over 610 films now that I have on streaming.
Whoa.
And that's not with streaming services. So, anywho, all right. Well, I guess we'll go with Ma first, since she keeps talking under her breath. Ma,
I want to hear.
No, you're going first, you old Betty. How many reels do you give a complete unknown, Ma? 5?
No, I won't give it 5. I'll give it 4. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Ma Hinshaw gives a complete unknown 4 out of 5 cookies, right?
Right.
Okay, let's see if I can get Mike to pay attention and stop looking at porn on his phone. Mike?
Sure. All right.
How many reels do you give a complete unknown?
I am going to give a complete unknown 4.5 reels. I really did enjoy this movie. I thought the acting of our 4 main characters was fantastic. I did really like the nuanced acting in it of sometimes it's what you don't say. And I felt like that was in this movie a lot, where there was just kind of glances or just expressions or whatever. I don't know. There's even a scene after the Newport folk festival where Bob played electric and they were furious at him and whatever, and he's just sitting like thinking, like because it showed like Pete Seeger was going to go talk to him, and I think kind of chastised him about what he did, because they were kind of really wanted him to stick to the folk music, and he didn't do that, and he could just see that it wasn't worth it, and he just like walked away. I love that.
Whoa. It still could have been considered folk music, Mike. The difference is that he was using an electric guitar in a full band versus just an acoustic guitar.
Well,
so it
I know,
still could be folk, right?
Yeah, no, it could be, but like there was this huge argument of like it has to be acoustic guitar,
Yes.
like I I'm not arguing whether it was folk or not. I'm just saying what they expected of him and what he did, and like apparently,
Well, I know. And I was just bringing up that point because I think that's kind of the point of that whole end is they're trying to say, does it really matter that it was an electric guitar and it was a full band? It still was folk music, wasn't it?
yeah.
Just a different sound to folk music, and it opened up people's ears and minds. And I think what is said in the credits that was his highest performing album ever, and he literally got almost booed off stage.
Yeah, man, they were throwing stuff at him, dude. That was pretty great.
But yet it's his highest grossing album ever. That's pretty wild. So it just goes to show you, Mike, change is not a bad thing.
Changes are coming.
Yeah.
These times are changing.
These times they are changing.
All right, I did it.
Okay, so Ma gave it 4. Mr. Talent gave it 4.5. Well, if you follow me on Letterboxd, I already rated it, so everybody should know what I have, but nobody follows me. So there. I give it 4 out of 5 reels. I thought this film was very, very good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I like James Mangold as a director. I thought the acting was incredible overall. But it fell into the tropes of your typical biopic of, boy moves to a big city, boy strikes it big, boy hooks up with girls, boy cheats on girls, boy becomes famous, boy doesn't like being famous. I mean, yes, that's like the story of like a lot of rock stars, but it seemed like they were repeating a lot of the tropes that you see in your typical biopic, and it was done really well. I just don't think it was 5 worthy. So, but the acting definitely is. I think there should be a lot of nominations. So, all right. Well, I think that's it for me. Mother. Hello, Mother. Wake up.
No, that's up for me too, because I'm starting to cough and I don't want to blow your ears out. But anyway, I still say it's a good movie to go see. Enjoyed it.
All right, Mike, you got anything else to say, sir? And if not, do your thing, dog.
I saw it with Mags. Because we don't always get a chance to see movies together, and she really enjoyed it. So I think that speaks to the movie, because she's heard Bob Dylan and stuff, but it's not like she was a huge Bob Dylan fan or anything. So she still enjoyed the story. So that's good storytelling. Anyway, I guess with that, thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever. I guess it's called X, formerly known as Twitter. And yeah, catch you next week for Nosferatu. And don't forget to enter our contest for Gladiator II. Tell us your favorite, or tell me, Mike, at realfilmnerds.com, your favorite Ridley Scott movie that's not Gladiator or Gladiator 2. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.